I never thought the person who was supposed to be my closest ally, the one who shared my childhood, my secrets, my dreams, would become my harshest critic. My sister Rachel. We grew up in the same house, ate at the same table, and yet somehow, as the years passed, a wall built itself between us. A wall made of money, pride, and cold judgment. My name is Emily, the younger sister. Unlike Rachel, I didn't follow the straight and narrow path to corporate success. I chose to freelance as a graphic designer, an unpredictable, often stressful life with uneven paychecks but the freedom to work on my own terms. I've always been proud of that freedom, but Rachel saw it differently. To her, my lifestyle was a mistake, a failure, something beneath her. Rachel's job in finance isn't just any job. It's a big deal. She works in a high-rise office in Manhattan, makes a six-figure salary, and lives a polished, enviable life. Ever since she landed that position, she's acted like a completely different person, proud, cold, and distant. She looks at me with a sort of pitying contempt, like I'm a stranger who somehow stumbled into the wrong family. Family gatherings became something I dreaded. At my parents' house in New Jersey, Rachel would arrive perfectly dressed, poised, and immediately take control of the room. She'd throw sarcastic remarks about my unstable career or how I should consider a real job. It was like she enjoyed belittling me, especially in front of our parents and relatives. The subtle digs about my clothes, my car, my irresponsible choices, they cut deep, even if I tried not to show it. She forbade me from touching her things, claiming ownership with icy words, "Don't go near my stuff." The house felt less like a home and more like a battlefield where I had to tread carefully around invisible mines. Our parents tried to keep the peace, encouraging us to be civil, but I could feel the tension every time Rachel's eyes flashed with disdain when I passed by. I tried to remind myself that family isn't always perfect, but her attitude chipped away at that belief little by little. Despite all this, I still wanted to believe there was a sister beneath the arrogance, someone who cared. But every time I reached out, she pulled away, colder than before. The more successful she became, the less room there was for me in her world. Little did I know, everything was about to come crashing down, not because of me, but because of a simple, yet priceless, diamond necklace. The day of the family party arrived with a strange tension hanging in the air, thick and suffocating, like the calm before a storm. Mom had spent hours in the kitchen preparing, while Dad paced nervously, trying to keep everyone's mood light. Rachel was her usual flawless self, dressed to impress, already casting those sharp glances my way that said, "Don't mess this up." We were all gathered at our parents' suburban home, a cozy two-story nestled in a quiet New Jersey neighborhood. But beneath the holiday decorations and laughter, the air crackled with an unspoken conflict, one I could feel creeping closer by the minute. Rachel's prized possession sat on the dresser in her old bedroom, a diamond necklace worth $7,000. She had bragged about it more than once, flashing it like a trophy, as if it was the measure of her success. To her, it wasn't just jewelry, it was power. But then, chaos struck. As the guests began arriving, Rachel suddenly froze. Her face drained of color. "Where is it?" she hissed, eyes darting frantically around the room. "My necklace, it's gone." The house fell silent, all eyes turning to her. Mom's face tightened with concern, Dad's brow furrowed in confusion. Rachel spun toward me, and I swear, in that moment, I felt the full weight of her accusation hit me like a slap harder than any she would deliver moments later. "It's you, Emily," she said coldly, voice rising. "You took my necklace." "I know it." I blinked, stunned. "What?" "No, Rachel, I didn't." But she wasn't listening. Instead, she stormed toward me, the venom in her eyes sharp enough to cut glass. "Don't lie. I saw you hanging around my room all afternoon. You're just jealous because you'll never have what I have." I opened my mouth to protest, but before I could get a word out, she slapped me hard across the face. The shock was so sudden, I staggered back, the sting burning fresh on my cheek. The room gasped. Mom rushed forward, placing a trembling hand on Rachel's shoulder. "Rachel, stop. You can't." But Rachel's fury wasn't quelled. "She's a thief. And she's going to pay me back. Every cent." Dad looked at me with a mixture of hurt and confusion, searching my face for some sign of guilt. But I felt only humiliation and anger. I wanted to scream, to tell them all the truth, but my voice was lost beneath Rachel's relentless tirade. The party dissolved into chaos as Rachel demanded I confess, threatened I'd reimburse her for the necklace. She used her salary, her status like a weapon to turn the family against me. Even Mom and Dad struggled to stay neutral, caught between the fierce loyalty to their eldest daughter and the doubt gnawing at their hearts. I retreated to my room that night, tears blurring my vision, the weight of betrayal pressing down on me like a crushing wave. I felt trapped, suffocated by accusations I knew were false, but no one seemed willing to believe me. That night, lying awake, I made a decision. I wouldn't let this go. I had to find the truth. No matter what it took. For days after that explosive party, the house felt like a prison. Every corner seemed to whisper suspicion, every glance weighed heavy with judgment. Rachel kept up her campaign, insisting she was the victim, while I was the liar, the thief. But inside me, something burned, a fierce determination not to be crushed by false accusations. I refused to crumble under her lies. Late one night, while the house was quiet and the rest of the family asleep, I pulled out my phone and logged into the home security system. Our parents had installed cameras months ago for safety, but until now, I hadn't paid them much attention. I scrolled through the footage from the day of the party. Then I saw it. Rachel entering her old bedroom, the necklace sparkling in her hand. She lifted it carefully, inspecting it, almost lovingly. Then, as if distracted, she slipped the necklace into her purse. A careless mistake, but a mistake that spoke the truth I needed. My heart pounded. This was proof, not just for me, but for the entire family who had been blinded by her accusations. The next morning, I confronted Rachel quietly, pulling her aside while our parents were busy preparing breakfast. "Rachel, I saw the footage," I said, voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. "You took the necklace. You put it in your purse and forgot. It wasn't stolen." Her eyes widened, a flicker of panic flashing across her face, quickly masked by anger. "Don't try to turn this around on me," she spat. "You think I'm lying. You think you're so clever." I shook my head. "I'm just asking you to be honest." She sneered. "You're trying to sabotage me. Everyone's already on my side. Who's going to believe you?" That's when I knew I had to go bigger. I gathered the footage, screenshots, and even the text messages where she'd nervously texted a friend, admitting she misplaced the necklace. That evening, I asked everyone to come together in the living room. Our parents looked weary but curious. Rachel sat stiffly, her arms crossed, the mask of confidence slowly cracking. I took a deep breath and played the footage on the TV. The room fell silent as Rachel's actions unfolded on screen, holding the necklace, slipping it into her purse. I followed with the texts. "Mistakes happen," I said gently, but blaming me nearly tore our family apart. "It's time for the truth." Rachel's face twisted in fury. "This is a setup. You're lying. You want to ruin me." Mom's eyes filled with tears, Dad's jaw clenched tight. "I just want honesty," I said firmly. "And respect." For a long moment, the room held its breath. Then Rachel broke. Her shoulders slumped, the fight draining from her. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I was scared. I didn't want anyone to see me like that." The apology was soft, but it echoed loud in the room. The facade shattered. But the damage was done. Rachel's apology hung in the air, fragile and uncertain. The room was heavy with silence, as if everyone was trying to process the truth that had just unraveled before their eyes. Mom wiped away a tear, and Dad sighed deeply, the weight of their silence speaking volumes. I wanted to believe this was the moment everything would heal, that after the storm, our family would find peace again. But deep down, I knew some cracks were too wide to mend. Rachel looked at me, eyes filled with shame but also something else, a flicker of resentment. The pride that once shielded her now felt exposed, vulnerable, and raw. "I never meant to hurt you," she said softly, voice cracking. I didn't want to lose face. I was afraid." I nodded slowly, understanding more than I wanted to admit. Fear could twist people into unrecognizable shapes. But the damage she'd done, the slaps, the accusations, the public humiliation, it had changed everything between us. Over the next few weeks, our family tried to move past the incident, but the tension lingered. Rachel kept her distance, the warmth between us replaced by a cold, fragile truce. I realized then that forgiveness doesn't always mean forgetting. Sometimes, it means accepting that some wounds leave scars you carry forever. I chose to focus on myself, to rebuild my confidence and protect my peace. The sister I once had, the one I thought I knew, was gone, replaced by someone I couldn't reach. Our relationship, once filled with shared memories and laughter, became a quiet shadow of what it had been. And though we still saw each other at family gatherings, the warmth was gone, replaced by an unspoken distance. In the end, I learned a painful truth: family isn't always about unconditional love. Sometimes, it's about knowing when to stand your ground, to speak your truth, and to walk away when that truth isn't enough to heal. The $7,000 necklace was more than just a piece of jewelry, it was a symbol of everything broken between us. And while it couldn't be undone, it taught me something priceless: my worth isn't measured by others' approval, but by the strength I find to stand tall in the face of betrayal.